All right, guys, we're now going to be streaming live on Facebook. Isn't this the coolest thing? Zoom is really rocking. Okay, so listen, typically on these events, as you guys know, if you go to the Facebook Live, this time of day, 11:30 a.m. on a Friday, there's typically about 25 or 30 of you who come on, and you're a part of it live while we're doing it. You ask questions, and then it gets viewed by hundreds of times over the coming weeks. Like as an example, Saturday's training, we had 300 people on it live through the entire time. Since that, we've had over 600 people watch it in its entirety on Zoom in recording. So we always have a lot more people come later, but I encourage you to be here because you can ask questions, you can walk away fully informed and clarify if there's anything unclarified, but also because you're part of the family. And we encourage you to share and interject and be a part of that. So 1 minute, I want to make sure, how's my volume level? Someone's saying they can't hear me. Can you all hear me okay? They're saying I'm good. Yeah, so others are saying I'm good, guys. So in the chat window, they're sending that to me presently. Okay, yeah, someone's asking me privately. So you know, if you as you're here, the good news is you all have an opportunity to be a part of this, right? So 1 minute, I'm going to do something. I'm going to mute everyone because I'm getting some background. So you all have an opportunity to be a part of this, and that's what we want. We want you to get to see each other's faces. We want this to be like a virtual conference room where we're all can sit around the table. And you know, what I miss most about my company is all of our team is throughout the country. And we've got a few here in Michigan, but none of them live within 30 miles of me even. So we don't meet every day at an office. And my prior companies, there was no such thing as working from home at the corporate team, right? Everyone worked from an office. And every day we'd get together and it just creates an energy and it creates a brainstorming, if you will. And we help take things to the next level with ideas. And we get together. We had a DAC corporate call this morning, a staff call. And but there's nothing like being able to be physically in the same room, but this is getting close, right? You have an opportunity to move around and everyone, it's a group, it's not the same, but I want you guys to feel a part of this at a greater level than just being a recipient of information. I want you to know that we believe our intellectual asset, our the greatest asset we have is the intellectual capacity of all of you collectively. And when we get together, and we start brainstorming, an idea will pop in your head and someone else's head. And we want to test things and try new things, right? Because we're on the front end. I'll give you an example. We had a call with a venture capital firm who likes what we're doing. Venture capital firm is someone who likes to invest money into companies that they think are going somewhere. And they reached out to us. We're not looking for that, right? They reached out to us, and in talking with them, they were commenting about our business model and how the agents and what we help to impart on them is what our belief is it's our collective team of agents. It's really our strength. Obviously our experience in running the business, obviously our back office, obviously those things are critical, but what really sets us apart is all of you. And you are moved by what we're doing. We're moved by what you're doing. And it's time that we figure out ways to embrace you more. And that's why our recognition, our work at Wednesday started. We want to recognize those who are out there doing it. We're actually doing the thing that we're asking you to do, right? And not only are we recognizing you who are doing it, we want to reward some of you who are doing it. Obviously, that sometimes the activity doesn't necessarily generate commissions yet. And we say, be like a farmer planting seeds. And if you work on a farm and you're planting seeds for future harvest, it takes time. It's nice to get some recognition for the hard work we do today. And it's nice to get some sort of compensation today. It takes a little time for some of these things to bear fruit. So we don't want you to lose that ability to persevere while you're planting the seeds. And unfortunately, most people do. Most people do. And so that's your biggest challenge. And that's our biggest challenge for you is how do you persevere when the results you're getting aren't necessarily evident? They're not evident yet. But it's the faith, the faith over doing the right activity with the right mindset, and then having the faith that that will land on the right soil and it will become a client who you're helping. And then of course that'll turn into funding. Now our applications have more than doubled in the last week. You guys are doing a fabulous job. Our agent support emails are up. Our engagement levels up. Everything's up. So even look at this. We've got over 30 participating right now on the Zoom plus Facebook. That's the largest Friday Live we've had in a little while too, right? Now, there's over 5,000 agents in this wall. So you would think there'd be more than 33, but most of them don't even know this is on right now, right? Because they're not engaged, they're not plugged in, but you are. So what I want to do is I want to give you a little State of the Union. I want to talk a little bit about where we're going. And then I want to open up to all of you, because you guys are really the heartbeat of our company. State of the Union. As I said, our applications are doubled. The funding, most up-to-date funding is we're still getting offers. Some of our providers have halted. They're just not doing any funding at all. Some of them have, but we've got plenty who haven't. And we're funding everywhere. The only state we're really not funding in right now is New York. And it doesn't mean we can't get funding there, but if the business is primarily doing revenue in New York, that's a struggle right now. But there's a lot of New York-based businesses doing revenue outside of the country. And I'm sorry, outside of the state they're in. So they have plenty of revenue coming in and it's fine. But that's the only state where we're really having struggle. When it comes to restaurants and any other businesses that have been shut down, it's coming down to revenue. We can still fund a restaurant. But as I said on the webinar last night, the minimum threshold now is $20,000 in revenue, current revenue for a restaurant before they can get funded. It's not $10,000 anymore. That risk has gotten higher. So they're now putting a minimum threshold. They had to put a minimum threshold. We were getting declines with restaurants doing $10,000 a month because there's a real good reason that 10 could fall to 5. So unfortunately, that's the state we're in right now. The threshold for restaurants, bars, any of those type businesses has bumped up. And I would say that you could probably sense that all the way across the industries. It's not a hard cut line, but it makes sense, doesn't it? That if you're the lender, it's your money you're putting out, and their future revenue is your assurance of getting paid back. Their future revenue. A lot of these companies going from 20,000 a month in sales down to 10 or 10 down to 5. Can they keep payroll? Can they stay in business? Can they pay their rent? So if you're giving the money, you may have the softest heart on the planet and you may want to help everybody. But if you're the one giving the money and if they go out of business, you're not getting paid back, you're going to start saying, I need to see a stronger candidate. As much as I want to help everybody who comes my way, I'm the one giving the money. I need to see a candidate that I believe is going to survive this. If this goes 90 days or 4 months where they continue to not allow customers in their building, can they do it on drive-through alone? Do they have the manpower? Do they have the staying power? So it's a little more difficult to get approved right now, obviously. So knowing that, I just hung up. I literally hung up at 11:28 Eastern, 2 minutes before this call started, with a construction company. And he's looking for about 40 grand working capital because his sales have gone down because of the stay order. He can't go in certain places and work, but he's still doing about 70,000 a month in revenue on places because he's an essential service. Why is he essential? He does construction work. A plumbing leak breaks. The house was in the middle of remodeling already. You got to finish the job. Or new builds. They're building new homes where no one living in it yet. You can go into those. So, he's still doing plenty of revenue. Perfect fit. We've got approvals right now over $1 million. So it's not like we've dried up, but the qualifications, the minimum revenue has increased, and the risk threshold for credit scores and time in business and all those things, obviously, we're not changing any of them, but use common sense that if you're talking to clients who are on the low level, it's at greater odds they're going to be declined now than usual. So we want to bump that up a little bit, start talking and know that going in. Just as I told him, hey, listen, it's the hardest time to get approved right now, but we're still approving a lot of businesses. So let's go for it. And let's see what we can get you, what kind of offer we can get you. And then you can decide from there. So you want to stay on top of your efforts. Payment processing is through the roof right now as well. We're approving more now. People are jumping on it now. People are making the decision quicker because every dollar saved, Matt, $100 a month savings right now is huge to a business owner. So don't slow down your payment processing. That's still full go. There's nothing changed there. We can sign up customers in any state. There's no issue with payment processing at all. Same with healthcare. Healthcare, we're doubling in size every month and a half. We're growing between 50 and 100% a month, 50 and 100% a month in growth. I mean, that's massive. So great job for those of you who are leading with that. And then we've got our consumer services, which are we've been mentioning them. People are starting to say, well, I didn't know you had a competitor to LifeLock. I'm paying for LifeLock. Why wouldn't I use my own? And it qualifies me in the residual pay plan to get paid on my first 3 levels just by using that. Wow. And, so our consumer services are picking up, and you can learn more about those on that training. But so good stuff. Work It Wednesday. Work It Wednesday is a new theme that every Wednesday we're going to recognize something. We're going to come out with a campaign. This week right now is tag yourself being a daily trailblazer. You're living the daily recipe of the trailblazer. 5 contacts minimum for client acquisition. Doesn't matter if it's healthcare, doesn't matter if it's payment processing or funding. I say mix them up, do all of them. And not only that, you're checking in with 2 to 5 of your older clients that you've reached out to in the past. And then you're reaching out to 1 new agent a day. I have literally recruited 3 new agents this week just by reaching out to my 1 a day. I'm reaching out to more than 1 a day, but just by hitting that minimum. Right now, Kelsey Britton, who might be on right now, Kelsey put a post up on her wall this morning, and she said within 20 minutes, she already had 10 people say, tell me more about your business. All she did was put a post on her wall. There's people right now in need. They're looking to make extra money. And if we're keeping this opportunity down, your Facebook page should every few posts have something about one of our business services for business owners in need and our opportunity for agents in need. So I don't know if one of my friends is on here right now. I'm gonna go through. I won't say her name, but she's a very successful real estate broker in our town and one of the leading real estate brokers. And she messaged me and said, hey, I've got a team of agents, and right now during this time, we're looking for extra ways to earn income. I want to talk to you about it. I mean, it's even a successful real estate broker because sales no one's buying right now, right? There's no one looking at homes. They can't go look. So you got a whole month with no sales going to happen, or at least less sales. Buying sight unseen, they want to go look at homes. So there's people in every walk of life who are looking for extra money right now, and you've got an angle for them. You've got a way. So let's not lose sight of that. And let's be the state of calm for the world. We're on the front lines of the economy. I've got a friend of mine who's on the front lines in the medical. He's a doctor. So he's on the front lines. He and his team are on the front lines helping patients, right? We're on the front lines on the financial side. You are on the front lines. You're like a doctor to businesses. You've got economy creating medicine called working capital. You've got it. You've got economy creating working capital, and you want to share it. And yes, the government we don't know when it's going to come out, may come out with some sort of stimulus, but until it's available, until someone gets the funding, and anything we read just says you're going to get a portion of your payroll. It's not going to be working capital loans like we do. It's going to be a little bit of money to help cover payroll and hopefully keep their employees paid. So folks, we don't sit back and go, okay, the government's got it covered. They don't have it covered. You are the medical doctor of economy. You are on the front line. You're the emergency physician when it comes to working capital disease. So please don't hold it back. And you are as well with the savings. The payment processing savings is such a valuable thing right now for business owners. And you save someone, like I said, $1,000 a month, that's 12 grand a year. You're saving them. That could be the difference of an employee getting laid off or them making their mortgage payment or not. This is real. So let's get out there and do our part with that. And I certainly appreciate all of you who do. With that, if you've got something, and if you've got a creative idea, I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to share things. If you've got something you've been doing, like I share this monthly shopper, this is just an idea. It wasn't part of our training early on. It was just one day I got this and I said, I'm going to just start reaching out. I don't know a lot of these businesses. So I may, have a physical block that I I want to canvas an intersection. I want to make sure all those business owners know who I am, and I visualize it and say, okay, that's my territory to love on those business owners and make sure they know who we are in that intersection right there. Well, why not this magazine? This is over a month old, but I've not gotten through everybody yet. So until I know every business owner in here, this is like my Bible of business owners that I get to reach out to and identify. So that's just an idea that came up, and some of you do that will turn into clients. If you're not doing it, if you're throwing away that circular when it comes in, you're missing out on serving clients. You're missing out on very good business owners in your community, and you've got something to identify. They mailed you, hey, I received your advertisement in the Monthly Shopper. So I'm just reaching out to introduce myself, learn more about your business, but also to introduce myself because I'm in Business Capital. And we love to help business tree trimmers like you to grow and prosper. And if you ever need capital for growth, or you're in a tight pinch, I'd love to help you. Or maybe you're going to lead with payment processing. Hey, have you heard of alternative payment processing? So you go into that. So that's just an idea. What other ideas do you have that are working already, that are working? If they're not working, it's no problem. Say this is something I'm thinking of trying, and maybe we've already tried it. So how can DAC improve? That's what if I gave you an anonymous paper and it said, how can DAC improve? How can we improve? If you had my job for a day, what would you change like this? That's what I want to know, because we may do it. You may go, hey, that's brilliant. I hadn't thought about it. We got blind spots. We don't know what we don't know. So if you have something you think we can do, raise your hand real quick. If you want to lead this off, if you got any comments at all, raise your hand and I'll unmute you and we can share what ideas you have. And again, we're on the Zoom right now. If you're on Facebook, I don't see you doing this through Zoom. So if you got something, raise your hand. If you know how to raise your hand. Okay, I see Nikki. Nikki, let's unmute you for a moment. Nikki, you're unmuted. What idea you got, Nikki?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Good. Looking sharp.
I'm actually right now over here at Craigslist. I'm using Craigslist and I'm sending emails to business owners. You know, business owners are hiring. Hey, how you doing? My name is Nick. I know it's tough times right now. I got it all scripted out. I'm actually doing it now. Look, I'm on Craigslist right now. You know, so like I started about a month ago. I got 12 in my downline. 12
Yes.
agents. This company is amazing, man. I work for Universal Studios, and the park is closed because the whole shutdown. So I have this right here. So I got faith, man. I got faith, and I love you, man. I watch all your videos. I tell everybody about you, man. This company is helping everybody.
Nick, I appreciate it, Nikki. So you work at Universal Studios, your park's shut down. It gives you the freedom. It could be a blessing for you right now because you're getting after this.
And I got everybody's number in my job. I text them all. Hey, become a David Allen Capital agent. I text like 100 employees.
Well, I tell you what, when you meet business owners live, if you smile at them like that, like you're smiling to all of us, you can see your love for what you do. It's awesome.
I mean, I'm excited, man.
Let me just say this, Nikki, for the people out there, I'll mute you again here. You can unmute yourself after, or I'll unmute you again if you want. You can raise your hand again. But for the people out there who are using Craigslist, let me just say this, or want to, because I think it's a brilliant idea. Make sure you onboard the new agents correctly, as we talked about on the Saturday training, because otherwise they're not going to have much results because they're not going to be engaged like you are or like others who are on this webinar, the Zoom Live. So the onboarding process, make sure y'all, and I'm not talking to you right now, Nick, I'm talking to everybody. Of course, that includes you and me. Anytime we have a new agent, and I had some sign up yesterday that I've not onboarded yet. I've not reached out and said, hey, did you get your welcome letter? Did you read your welcome letter? Have you gone through the Get Started training? Let's schedule a game plan. Those steps are so critical, and they are the first steps of starting someone right. And when they're neglected, more often than not, those agents will stumble away. It's a rare person like you guys here who stick it out and find a way to be here. Most people, wander. So when you take someone to put them under their hand or under your hand, and you hold their hand, and you take them under your wing, I should say, then you have a lot of success with them. So great job. Great job, Nikki. Keep it up, buddy. And we got Joan Hoffman. Joan, I just unmuted you. What ideas you got, Joan, or what can we do to make DAC better?
Well, good morning. I'm just wondering if there's a possibility that we could have a some person on call that we could call into to do a three-way call with prospects. Sometimes it's hard to connect with other people because of their schedule, and if that would be a possibility, that might be pretty handy. Or even a message that we could call in, recorded message, just to introduce people and hear someone else's voice besides ours.
I'm writing that down. Okay, so we used to have back in, well, what I'll call old school, Joan, before this whole internet thing, right? We used to have a 24-hour dial-in line where they could call and just hear a message. Now with the internet and our videos, our Partner With Us page has got a video that the last few people I've recruited, that's what I've said. I said, watch that video. If you like it, let's talk. But 24-hour recorded call, you think there'd be value in that? If you think that'd be valuable, guys, type in the chat line. Yeah, we'd use it. We'd use it. We'd use it. If not, you don't need to type it in. I know there's only 30 of you on, so 36. I don't expect to see a bunch of likes. But if you like that idea, please give a like that. I use that a lot, Joan, in my early days in this industry. In fact, my first company, that's how I built it. I'd put that number out. I'd leave that was my drop card. It was to a toll-free number they could call in and hear a message. So I like it. As far as having someone on call to do three ways, we rely on the leader you're working with, obviously through the three-way calling with the game plan with your leader. Between you and me, if there's no leader, then it's me. So I do three-way calls. What I tell people though is I don't want to do a three-way call till they've watched that video on the Partner With Us video.
Okay.
So otherwise I'm explaining all the stuff they can watch on that video. So on your davidallencapital.com/partner page, there's a 7-minute video that goes through our business. If they liked that, then I'd be glad to do a call with them. And it's really a meet and greet, but we're leaning on, we can only do that with so many people, right? And so many hours in a day. And we end up disturbing your prospect because I can't talk till next Thursday. And you're like, okay, well, that doesn't do me any good because they're ready to roll now, right? So that's why we say start with your team leaders and work up and then be the team leader for your team. And one of the things we teach our trailblazers is how to do a three-way call. So we keep it to what are the 7 things you want to accomplish on a three-way call so that you can, have it same, doesn't matter which leader you're calling, you'll have a different personality, but you get the same content covered. So it's effective, but great points. I appreciate that, Joan.
Thank you.
And we've got someone else who's got their hand up. This is Alex. Alex, I've unmuted you, buddy. What ideas you got? How can DAC be better?
Okay, well, I just joined very recently, and I'm very excited about this opportunity. However, a lot of people don't know about David Allen Capital, and is there some way to explain or demonstrate the success that David Allen Capital has created already, and just real credibility is what I need to show to potential customers?
Okay. So that's one of the toughest things to do, as you can imagine, Alex, because credibility comes down to relationship and their trust in you, and then their trust in us. So what we have the benefit of, the reason DAC benefits is because your business owner, neighbor, and when you say, hey, this is a great company, many times that gives a level of respect. They trust you, and then they respect us because you said they can trust us. But if they don't know you as someone in business capital, that doesn't necessarily lend respect to us, right? They still trust you, but there's that third party they want to be connected with. So it's one of the most difficult things to do. With that being said, what do we do for that? How do we handle that, and how can we improve it? I mean, some of you will have ideas on how we can improve it, like a rating system on our website is an example. People have recommended that.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so we're looking at Trustpilot and some of those to get a rating system. And I'll tell you the challenge we have with that. So two parts. Number one, as far as establishing credibility, this is how I do it. And I'm the president of the company. So it's really difficult for me because they're looking at the founder of the company, right? So they may like me, but can this guy really pull it off? Like the call I just did, right, with the client. And so what I said to him, which I would encourage all of you to say is and the great news is we represent all the top alternative providers in this industry. So we've got companies who've lent out hundreds of billions of dollars and companies who've only lent out $1 billion or hundreds of millions. We don't deal with any of the shady providers. We only deal with the best. They're the hardest to become partnered with, first of all. So we've proven ourselves to them. So we represent all the best providers, number one. And because we represent all of them, we're going to find you the best offer. We've been doing this now just under 5 years, and we've helped over 1,000 businesses get capital already successfully. So I think we could help you. Those are the credibility pieces are top alternative providers, the biggest in the world. We represent them. And by the way, not everybody can. You got to get approved for that. So we represent all of them. And not all of them will allow you to represent them if you're representing anyone else. Our providers are willing to because they want our business, because we are credible. We are serving the clients first. We're not a telemarketing hard sales team, right? Our internal team, who's the last people to see that package, does not close anyone. We don't do it. We provide value to the client. We're not peddling debt. We're fueling businesses. And so if they're going to go in debt, but only if the benefit can be greater than the debt. So knowing that, our providers love us for that. We've got providers right now who've shut down giving any of their other partners approvals except us. Wade said that on the call. We've got not just us, but the top, there's only a couple of companies. There's one of them calling me right now. There's only a couple of companies who we can keep doing capital with. Hang on, I want to somehow answer that call. Came up on my screen here. I don't know if you saw that, but FaceTime came up on my screen. But so our credibility exists in their eyes. So I would just share some stories like that. Now, Trustpilot is a rating system that you see on some websites. Here's the problem we've had with Trustpilot. We've had agents misrepresent what we offer.
Mhm.
Tell people we can get them bank rates, 4% only, or we can approve you for $800,000, and they're doing $20,000 a month in sales. And those people went on and gave a bad rating of the company
Mhm.
when we used to have a Facebook page, and it was unrelated to us. And we would answer them and say, "Hey, sorry, your agent said that." But we found that we were getting 4 times as many complaints about agents than customers who loved it, because we had agents who were uneducated, spilling it incorrectly. So that's why we preach and teach training effectively. And unfortunately, we're growing so fast, we do have agents who say the wrong things. We have agents saying, "Don't use SBA loans right now." That's crazy. You shouldn't say don't use SBA loans. If you can get an SBA loan right now, it's going to be cheaper than ours. You should do it. When I put a post up, I say, go to your bank. If you can't get approved there, then use us. And I'm not saying they're going to get an SBA. I'm not saying they're not going to get it, or they're going to get emergency funding, or it's going to help them or not. It's not my job to do that, but it's certainly not my job to say don't do it. So you can see that's one of our challenges is we're on the hook for what our agents say. And not all the time is that good. We're regularly, I'd say 1 out of every 10 deals we get, our internal team has to re-promote what we do to the client because the agent misled them.
What about
So-
testimonials?
Pardon me?
Testimonials from happy customers.
Yeah, we've never solicited them or asked them for them, but you're not the first person who said this. And we actually added on our thing for 2020 to get testimonials, a testimonial engine created where our customers could give us testimonials because that outweighs the complaints.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna add testimonials on here. It is already on our list, but I'm gonna reconvene with our internal team on what do we got to do to make that happen, because some of our clients just rave and love us, and they'd be happy to give us a testimonial. In my first year, when I was just me and only had maybe 20 agents, I'd always get a testimonial from the clients, and I'd put it on my website to share with people. Or I would tell them anyway, do you mind if I share this? Can I give them your phone number? Oh, sure, David. That was when they were all my close buddies, right? Or businesses that I'd worked with personally. Now that it's spread to businesses primarily who are your contacts, not ours, some of them still would be happy to be testimonial. So yeah, great point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. And you know what? We hadn't thought about those in the last few months. So appreciate mentioning it again, because it moved it back up our list. And I hadn't thought of a 24-hour recorded line in 3 years. So thank you for mentioning that as well, Joan, because that moves that up the list. Okay, so we've got Ellen Wynn on. How you doing, Ellen? Let me see if I got you unmuted here. It's not letting me unmute you. Let me try one more time.
How about now?
There you are.
I
Ellen,
think
how
I
you
hit
doing?
myself. Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Hey, I'm seeing a lot of chat here and people trying to raise their hand. So if you don't know how to raise your hand on your Zoom, you want to click on the participants tab, and it gives you the opportunity to raise your hand so Dave can recognize you to speak. Hey, the idea that I wanted to share is there is software that is a scrolling ticker. And I think it would be helpful if you could utilize that, and maybe just on the partner page, but be able to list some of our recent fundings and have that scrolling across the bottom. As we're looking at agents recruiting, and in our presentation, you're saying, okay, we just did a $20,000 loan. You can do the math, 4%, as you do in the live presentation. They can do the math themselves and see what kind of money agents are making with those recent fundings, maybe the dollar amount and the industry type, and update that ticker on a weekly basis or so, showing some of the most recent fundings that we've had. I think that would really put our recruiting numbers on steroids. And that might be something that could be used too on the customer side, letting the customer know this various industry types that are actively getting funding or have in the recent past.
Love it. See, that one we don't need permission from the client, because we wouldn't have to give specifics. We could just say construction company, 80,000.
Yeah.
From so-and-so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Scrolling ticker. All right. We had one in my last company as you signed up new agents, and new agent. And every 3 or 4 minutes, boom. Welcome Marcy from Kansas, and welcome. And it was a scrolling ticker. I like that. Okay. Thank you, Ellen. And by the way, thanks for seeing the chats. I don't see that here. I see them, but I'm not looking at all of them. So,
oh, Matt is one. He's trying to raise his hand.
Matt is?
Matt Duhame. Yeah, let Matt on there.
All right. I'll find you, Matt, in the list of people, and I'll unmute you somehow. I see Wade's on. I'm going to go to Wade first. Wade, are you able to? Well, Wade may not be able to talk right now. He might be on with a client or something. So I'll wait. Wade, if you're able to share, I'd love for you to share, or anyone else wants to share. We'll go to Matt right now. But thank you so much, Ellen, for your comment. I like it. It's on the list. Thank you for everything you do. Okay, let's go down to Matthew. And Wade, if you're able to, just raise your hand if you can. If not, maybe even shoot me a text, and that way I'll get it, because I'm not reading all the comments. I'm looking for Matthew right now. I know he wants to chat. Okay, it's in alphabetical order. Good. I'm learning this, guys. I'm learning. I'm going to be a Zoom head soon, but I'm just not there yet. All right, Matthew. Did you unmute yourself, buddy? Because I've unmuted you. There you are. Oh, I unmuted okay. Mary. Hang on. Matthew.
Yes, sir.
You're live. All right. Good. You look great, buddy.
Really? Okay. Tell my wife. So it's great to see everybody here. This is a great format. I think finally we have an opportunity to share, and this is a great venue. I just want to add what I think I might be of help help to agents doing this new. You know, you mentioned the other day, they're not used to just calling people on the phone, and they're used to meeting, greeting, and forming in person. It's kind of like a mindset. You mentioned the other day, switching your mind. Pretend you're sitting there in front of somebody at a bar. I remember the first time I got into telemarketing, years ago, and somebody had mentioned to me, you just put yourself sitting in front of somebody at a bar. You're at that stool, you're just talking, having a beer with somebody when you're on the phone, and get your mindset. You're just talking to a business owner across the counter at his pizzeria. Get your mind around that fact. You're just talking to him, not on the phone, not from 5,000 miles away or another state, could be any state in the union, right? Just have a conversation with somebody as if you're, hey, Bill, how you doing, man? You want to hand me the peanuts? Just have that conversation, get your mind around it. I know you're going through a difficult time. We're all going through a tough time, and it's a fluid situation. So I'm not, suggesting I'm doing anything wonderful. I'm trying hard. I'm always experimenting.
You're doing great, buddy.
Some
You're
days
doing great.
Some days I'm on, and some days you're not. And here's what I told my son. I said, when you're not really feeling like it, do it, damn it. It's like, do it. That's the time that you learn the most. Like, oh, I'm up. I feel great. I'm going to make some calls. Yeah, I want to get after this. That's great. And you're going to get some results because your attitude's going to carry the day because you believe in it, all of that. You have to have the foundation. I mean, we're talking about the foundation of believing in this. And I mentioned the other day on the thing, don't do this if you don't believe it. Well, I need money. I need to make money. Well, then have that balance. Seek that balance between your needs and the client's needs. It's a really strange thing. And I mentioned it the other day after having 6 bottles of wine. I'm sorry about that. That was lunchtime, by the way. And in Argentina, it's a religion. You got to drink Malbec in the middle of the day. So forgive me for that. I'm not drinking now. So, but coffee. But I told my son, I said about, I lost my train of thought. It was encouraging him.
You don't feel like it, you do it anyway.
Yeah, just do it and make sure that you're, we just put them, okay, balance between a client's needs, your needs. Yeah, he's struggling. I need some money, Dad, but blah, blah, blah. I say, well, okay, so put yourself in the customer's position. Just try. Just put yourself in a business owner's mindset. That's the hardest thing most people do. A lot of agents. I'm sure Helen's, owns a limousine company. You've owned businesses, Wade. People who know struggles and the anxiety of having a business, and now more than ever right now, there's uncertainty, ambiguity, and this bailout or the stimulus is going to help their payroll and a few other things. But you mentioned it's not going to get them out of this bind. They're not going to have that bridge funding. I'll use that term. That's what I've been saying. I'm thinking, what's the best term? How can I convey this in a way that's going to sound not pushy, but at the same time, like, life rafty, lifeline. We got a lifeline. You may or may not need this. Yes, you probably get a stimulus if you can't wait. Like I always say, hey, listen, if you can go to the bank, that fellow, Alex, who called in earlier with the pink A, credibility, you said something that really resonated with me, and it clicked a switch. There's always a little switch. He said, hey, if you can go to the bank, go ahead, push them to the bank. Just push them right away from you. Go to the bank. You should. It's going to be cheaper unless you can't wait. You have to throw that in there. Yeah, I probably can't wait. Yeah, you can go to the bank. Don't let. I had a different approach before, and it was condescending. It was like, oh, you can't get approved to the bank. Nobody can, right? Well, maybe they can. Don't let them think they can't. So you go to the bank if you can. If you can't wait, we're here to help you. It's going to be quick. It's not bank rates, but if you've got a good use for the funds, we're a good solution for you. Would you like to? Would it be okay if, right? Would it be okay if I, just help you if you can't get funding from the SBA? Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, I'm on deck, right? On deck. So we're we're on deck. Boom, we're on deck for you if you can't have another solution. That's my contribution.
I love it, Matthew. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's funny because you had mentioned your son, and when you're not feeling like doing it, that you'll learn more then. And you also mentioned you picked up one little nugget. Every time I hear someone speak, I pick up another nugget. My notes keep growing here, guys, because everyone who shares something. I go, I'm going to gain from that. That's good. Would it be okay if came from Matthew? I've never used that. I never said, would it be okay if I emailed you? I said, can I email you? But just changing it to would it be okay if just changes the impact. It's crazy. It's one of those impact words. But I'm going to see who else has got their hand up here. Anyone else got their hand up that wants to share right now? Okay, I'm going to answer a couple chat questions. Start thinking again. Okay, Mary's got her hand up. Good. Mary, what ideas you got for DAC to improve? Mary Robinson, you there, Mary?
Yes. Can you hear me? Oh,
I can, barely, but yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say thanks for being on the video today. I just wanted to propose a idea for business startups. I was wondering, because I know it's required for new businesses to be in business for at least 4 months and make, of course, the 10,000 a month. But I was wondering if there's something that DAC can do or offer business startups, even something small, if they have been in business for less than 4 months. Because I was thinking that this would attract those businesses back to DAC in the future, like once they grow and expand.
Right. Yeah, Mary, you think the way I do too. You want to help business owners any way you can, right?
Yeah.
And most people that are our agents feel the same way. And Wade's that way too. Everyone on our internal team, Brad, Lindsay, Kelsey, Sharon, Morgan, all of you. The unfortunate thing is that product doesn't exist in the marketplace. We'd have to do the funding ourselves, which we're not equipped to do all the underwriting and all that. So we've done some deals ourselves, but that's not the market we want to be in just yet. Beyond that, the risk levels, you can imagine. In fact, we've only got a couple providers who will do 4 months. Most of them require 1 year. Some require 2 years in business because of the facts are most businesses that start fail within the first 2 years. So, 1/3 does and 1/2 in 5 years. So it's very difficult for these clients to pay it back. So I don't see that changing in the near term. If we were doing our own funding, and I still don't know that I could do it unless we own part of the company. When you give a brand new company money, you want to own part of it because you're taking such a risk. That's what venture capitalists are. They will give money, but they want to own a large part of that company because they know that only 1 out of 10 is going to make it. And 9 out of 10, they're going to lose every dollar they give. So I don't see it happening with our current structure. And if we did, we certainly couldn't pay commissions because as it is right now, you know how expensive our capital is right now. Do you know that if 1 out of every 10 deals defaults, you lose money on the other 9? So
Wow.
with the pricing we are now, if just 1 in 10 defaults, the other 9 you didn't make a profit on, even though you charged 30, 35% of the money. So, and that's if all deals were the same size. We had a $500,000 deal default in the first week, and they kept that $500,000. You know how many deals you got to do at a $500,000 to make back that money? So it's very difficult, Mary, to earn a profit on a business that's only 4 months old. So I would say credit cards, if they can't get approved for credit cards, getting a home equity loan, if they don't have, so all the traditional ways. And if they don't have that, unfortunately, it's friends and family. That's the biggest difficulty. Now, I will tell you, I've got a heart space for them. And I wouldn't doubt if one day DAC has a venture group that does fund new startups and does give money and does take it back, but retains part of the company and is willing to take that risk because I've got a passion for that personally. And once that fits our business model, you may see we add it.
Okay, thank you.
You bet, Mary. But I'm glad you think the way you think. Keep thinking. And if you come up with any other ideas before this is over, let us know. All right. I lower your hand and we got Wade's. All right, Wade. Can you hear me okay, man? Buddy?
I am doing great.
Love it. Yeah. Wade on a Friday live.
It's been busy. It is, I got to tell you, these are pretty good. I mean, I love Ellen's idea a lot. I got like 10 notes already on that one because I know this will work. And it's funny, I'm sitting here and I'm getting all these up to date, to the minute reports from all of our lender partners. And I just got this from our top lender who is really a paper lender. And they've changed it. They're still funding everywhere. They changed their terms to only accepting $250,000 in revenue annually, which is about $22,000 a month, and 3 years in business. So tomorrow they could change that right back. But right now, and then I just spoke to a lender partner that stopped lending on Monday. They told me they'd be back open on this following Monday, and they're the ones that approve almost everybody we submit to. So that's a good thing going as well. So it's we are getting offers, and I mean, I got a 70,000 and a 225 this morning. So it's not that we're not getting offers, but one other thing I wanted to say is you're absolutely right. We don't need to talk to these people about SBA. I totally understand it now as best as anyone can expect to. And I've talked to my sister who has their business and some other people as well. And there's a whole lot of ifs and buts and candy and nuts on that. Can you really get the money? But I'm just like Matthew said, encourage them to go ahead and go to the bank. Because by the way, they can use that money for other things than just payroll and medical. They can also use it for debt. But think about it. You're getting 250% of your monthly payroll. How long is that going to really last you? Guys, we're going to be in a gem of a position when this all blows through. And I really mean that. And I was talking to even our the lender that does most of our C and D paper. And he even said, we're going to come back in and with lower rates than we've ever done to sweep these people up and help them.
Wow. That's great news. And Wade, you're still seeing offers, and you are obviously, he was on a big call just before. Did that call go well, by the way?
It's been ringing all day.
Well, you had the one.
The big one, it went extremely well. We're just trying to get the credit lines for $50 million, and that's what we're working on.
All right. Well, so guys, it's obviously great things are happening. I'm going to mute you, buddy, but you can come back in. Thanks for being here, my friend. You look great. So you know what it is? I've got your Michigan cup that you left here, and I've been drinking out of it. I've even used the lid. So no. How do I turn his video off? So, and you know what it is? You're not wearing orange. That you're wearing blue. That's why you look so great. Anyway, so what other ideas we got to improve? Wade's lower that hand. Come on, you got some ideas. George Taylor, how you doing, George? If you could unmute yourself. Okay, there you are. You're unmuted. Go ahead, George. What ideas you got?
Yeah, quick question on things like the updates that you're given, and especially in this time. Is there any way that there can be like a special link or post just so the agents out there can go and look to see what's up to date so they know who to offer, what to offer? It can be weekly, it could be every couple of days, just so we know what the climate is compared to in this special time.
I love it. I love it. You know what? We'll add a page to our Agent Resource Center that you can link to from there. And that'll have the, any, like you said, any changes up to date, up to the minute. So you don't have to wait for Tuesday's webinar or Thursdays.
Right.
And we can just keep that status. It's like a status update for a client. It'll be a status update of our industry for funding and payment processing. We can just say same as usual for payment processing, same as usual for, you know, whatever. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
I was going to say, in a two-way street, actually, in teaching our new agents, it'll be a way that they know that they need to go to Agent Resources daily and to look for new updates or anything, like if the sample letter or onboarding letter changed or anything like that. It'll get them in the habit of going there to do those kind of things.
Yes, I like that. So that's what our Friday and our Wednesday are for, but this would be something, a lot of people never make it there. So at least it'd be another place that we put it. And we could even link to that from the email so they can always check to it. I like it. Good idea, George. Thank you, buddy. Come on, who's got other ideas? Okay, let's talk ideas for finding, oh, here's an idea for healthcare. Our licensed agents are saying one of the best markets they're finding, because they're marketing this product too, is automobile, homeowners, Farm Bureau insurance agents, Allstate insurance agents, Aflac agents. These are all people who don't market healthcare today. But yet they've got hundreds and hundreds, a book of business of a bunch of people who can use our healthcare product. So you may want to start targeting and I know we're not targeting, like Matthew said, we're not trying to take them out, buddy, but start focusing on supporting those agents, because many of them, and how would you reach out to them? Hey, I'm just reaching out. I know you're in the automotive insurance business. What are you doing for marketing for healthcare? Anything at all? Because we've got, no, I'm not licensed for that. And we've got a product that doesn't require a license, may be able to help a lot of your clients. Are you interested in learning more? Are you interested in learning more is the simplest words that you can say when you're recruiting an agent. And let them say no. No is okay. And it's okay if it's yes too. So you may want to think of them. Who else? What else you got? What other kind of people are great candidates? Accountants are great candidates for becoming agents with us. Restaurant supply companies are great candidates to become agents. They serve nothing but restaurants. People who sell medical equipment, great candidates to be agents. Why? They're selling medical equipment every day, and they're in business offices who use one of our highest funding areas. What else you got? What other ideas on how we can make DAC better? Well, I can tell you, have more regional and national events, have more Zoom Super Saturdays, get more people training on the training than David Rutz. Have your Trailblazer system adopted by 100 to 200 people. So you got 100 or 200 people who can do that training, and you know what they're going to be training. And then send those people all throughout the country. Come up with some sort of revenue sharing bonuses for the leaders of the company where they can override everything the company does, even if it's not their team, because they're helping to contribute to the entire team. Start holding trainings and compensate some trainers who are out there doing some trainings for you. Come up with some neat other overrides in the compensation plan to give people, get our service star back in line, Ellen. The incentive we ran for when Longevity Services first launched that drove a bunch of volume. Come up with some more consumer services. Focus on the residuals more, because the fuel of our company is business capital, and that's the propellant that gets you out of the gate and it brings people into the business. But the residual is the sail on the boat. At some point, the residual is so good, you don't need the engine anymore because the wind is so good, the sailboat's moving and it's going, and you don't need the motor. I only need the motor to get out of my well and get out into the lake. Once I'm there, sails up, baby. The residual will take you where you want to go, but you need the motor to get started. You need the upfront to move, but the residual is where your freedom comes. So how do we get the residual? Well, we focus on it more. We talk about it more, but we don't do it and throw the engine off the boat. So you got to have the sail, you got to have the residuals, but you still need the motor on the boat. So those are my ideas. Come up with some more consumer. What else you got? Come on, be creative. You're our CEO today. What do you got? Fire Rutz. What? I'm only kidding. No one said that, but I'm getting all kinds of texts. That's good. Okay, Clayton's got something. All right, Clayton. Thank you. Stepping into the boardroom here. Clayton, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, Dave, not anything to make DAC better, but just to give an idea to the agents, what I actually just inputted, I'm doing a community resource page, and the name of that page is called sharetitbiz.com. You can actually look at it. And what it does on the back end, it actually pulls the Google Places listings. So it's like I'll be given a free spot, but it's gonna allow me to be able to call those businesses down the road. So it's like I'm helping them out, but I'm also helping myself out, if that makes sense.
Can you repeat that? And I've never used that. What's a Google what? Places?
Well, the Google Places, how when we go search for leads and things like that, and a lot of times we use Google. So the back end of my website, it actually pulls in whatever type of business that I want, and it'll actually put it on my resource page. So that was just a way that I was gonna, just like you was looking in your ad book.
A monthly shopper?
Yeah. So now I can actually call and say, hey, I saw your listing on sharetitbiz.com, even though it's me, but I can say, hey, I saw your your business there, and can I help you out? So I would say put up a community resource page. It may be a little bit more work, but we're still helping out.
Love
Just my
you're going in now. I like it. You know what? Like, keep working that, and we may end up having you do a little tutorial for us.
Gotcha.
And
Yes, sir.
and show some people how to do it. It may be beyond the scope of what some of the team can do, but you do a DIYer and shoot a video of how you do it, and it may be something that we can spread the news on. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. That's a creative idea right there. Love it. All right. So Nikki is with us. Nikki is back. What do you got, buddy?
Well, how you doing, guys? Well, I was hoping maybe you could do a video in Spanish because I was checking the longevity of their website and I was checking on YouTube. They do have a video in Spanish. Is there any way you can do one in Spanish? Because like that, over here in Orlando, Kissimmee, it's all Puerto Ricans, So if it's Spanish, it'll be good.
Mi habla no español. So, do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, claro que sí.
I remember this. ¿Cómo se llama? I got like 5 sentences from my first semester of Spanish in 8th grade that I remember. Other than that, Chiqui, I don't know much.
It's a good thing to do one in Spanish because my neighbor, she's Spanish and she doesn't know anything about English. So, and she knows her son owns a restaurant. So if I can get her into DAC and her son owns a restaurant and she knows Spanish, man, that's another market we can, capitalize.
There's no question. It's the fastest growing. Our partner, Longevity, the Spanish market's the fastest growing market.
Yeah. I saw a YouTube video about it.
And so, here's the struggle we have. We can do it. Absolutely, we can do it. We'd have to translate the websites because it doesn't do any good to do a presentation in Spanish without a website. So we have to translate the websites, which we've got an internal team who can do that. We'd have to create the videos. And the problem is there's new stuff coming all the time. So we need someone who can speak Spanish who can do that for us. What Longevity had is they had a leader in the field who was bilingual, and he took the lead of creating everything. So they'd say something and he'd go repeat it. And so if we've got someone who wants to do that,
a superstar,
beyond me, be a superstar for us, a trailblazer who's bilingual, we'll help whatever we got to do to make that available. From converting the slide.
I'll try to wait till my end. I'll try to shine over here. I'm gonna try to wait till my end. I'll try to shine. Maybe you hire me.
I don't see the shyness, buddy. I see a very likable person who you're going to help a lot of clients.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for answering my question.
You bet. So I'm writing down Spanish. Well, let's move that up. The other downside is we don't have Spanish documents for loans or funding. They won't do it in Spanish. So we can only get clients who can read English. So that's none of our providers will. Well, we may have a couple who vary from that. I'll check with Wade on that.
Yeah, especially in Miami. My sister lives in Miami, and Miami is Cuban town. And there's a lot of Spanish people there.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, all the funding documents are English. Well, thank you very much, buddy. Keep them coming, Nikki. All right. Anyone else have anything before we part ways today? Any other ideas you have? Is there anything? This is what I'm talking about. Like I mentioned pay plan. I mentioned revenue sharing. Truly look at it and say, if you were the CEO, and just think about this. You don't need to make a decision now, but brainstorm, and anything you have, shoot it my way. Don't hesitate. George, I see your hands up again. So let's go. What do you got, George?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go off of what Nikki was saying. Instead of doing the business loan part, you could start with a smaller, like with payment processing, because that would encompass a lot more businesses and bring a lot more people in if you just did that in Spanish or that market, because that would be a wider net to cast.
I like it. We've already got healthcare. So healthcare, we already have the Spanish site and enrollment. So we're good on healthcare. But as far as recruiting, we dropped that ball. But yeah, we can do all of them. We can do all of them. Even if they had to get an interpreter to read their documents, because they're English documents. But yeah, we've got that. So testimonials, these are things that are on the to-do list that we just need to move on because we're limiting our growth because of the lack of them. So yeah, good stuff, George. Thank you, buddy. All right, I think we've got everyone. Is there anyone else, Sharon, in support? Your hands down, nothing. Looking through who else might be on here that may want to share from the corporate team. That's it. So, all right. No one else is raising hand. Let me just look at the comments quick. What is the difference between a bank loan and SBA loan? SBA is a government-backed loan. Small Business Administration is a government industry entity. And so it's government-backed loans. They're very difficult to get approved for. And there's only small niches, where a bank loan is a private lending bank who determines the loans. Now, some of those banks are actually doing SBA loans. In fact, most all of them do. But if someone's trying to get an SBA emergency loan right now, they're being asked to go to their local bank to apply for it, which is closed. See the issues? We're open. We're here to help them. I don't know how they're going to apply at their local bank when their local bank has no employees there. So I don't know that. That's what some of the juggling we're trying to do, right? But all I know is we're here. Wade was at his office. We're an essential business, and we're doing what we got to do, and you're doing what you got to do. So let's be on the front lines helping those business. Hopefully I answered your question. Food trucks, absolutely, bring them. We had a restaurant. One of my clients for payment processing was just about to get all his equipment, decided I'm moving my business into a food truck, and I'm delivering because I don't have delivery. I need a mobile reader now. So Kelsey moved him over to a mobile reader. So absolutely, food trucks are good. Have you considered a newsletter that could help us stay top of mind with businesses? Donald, so you know what? Thank you for that. Here's what we've got. We actually built a mail list. First of all, we do reach out to anyone who's applied for capital periodically. And if they just get capital, you get credit unless someone else has talked to them and they're over 4 months old. But it's a great point. And who is that? Donald? Donald, we actually have a mail list, an email list that we're going to encourage you. And we've tested it. We've not brought it to market yet, but we're going to encourage you when you're handing out drop cards, get cards. And say, hey, I understand. Would you like me to add you to my email list for reaching out to you periodically with business counsel and information about our company? And if they say yeah, then you would add them to the mail list, and it's a double opt-in. We would send them an email and saying you wanted to be on our mailing list. Do you agree? And if they hit yes, then we would periodically, probably once a month, like in a time like now, we could send them information on how we might be able to help them and what the qualifications are. And we could grow that list. And if you're the one who put them on that list, your agent ID would be stored. And then you get credit if they ever get capital from us. So it's really building a massive lead list that all of you, or massive client relationship sheet that all of you guys can contribute to. The downside is we'll have people, because we have it now, we'd have people put a bunch of names on that never agreed. And then we'd be reaching out and they go, quit reaching out to me. I never wanted to be on any mail list. And then that's why we haven't done it yet, because unfortunately with an agent size, tens of thousands of agents that we've had who've signed up, which we've got, you're going to have some that, Nikki, I love that you're walking. You're going to have some that, are add people that don't want to be on it. And it's like spamming, and we don't want that. So we would have a double opt-in where they'd have to opt in. They'd be added by you. They'd have to opt in once, opt in twice, and then we'd send them and they could unsubscribe at any time. What we don't want is them to say we're spamming, because then we could lose our email service that goes to our agents. So, but we do have a newsletter system. Worst case, it could be a newsletter you guys could share. We could put up that you guys could share personally with your 4 clients or your 50 clients or your 100 clients. So yeah, newsletter. All right, client face. Wade's been talking about that. He's been on In the last 4 months, he's been on that about, we got to get our client contact email done, newsletter, if you will. So great point. I just had a client say no to offer. When and how would you reach out to the client that did not accept an offer? When and how would you reach out to the client that did not accept an offer? Well, what happens, our process is if they don't accept an offer from us, oh, you mean when would you reach out again to them? Okay, so we reach out to them, inform them, and they say they don't want it. Then we say, okay, and we put them aside. And we add them to our file of prospective clients from the past. And we reach out to them. Thank you again. We're just reaching out maybe once every month, once every 2 months. We'll just send a little in case anything's changed and you're looking for capital. But they're on a mass mail list. But you're the agent of record, right? As far as you, I'd reach out to them anytime there's a massive change. I would be checking in. That's why we say check in with 2 to 5 businesses every day. And they'll come around on your list every month or so. We just, hey, just send them a text. How you doing? Hope the restaurant's doing well. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. Just check in. Let me see. I'm looking through the chats. Okay, so there's a few new messages. Can takeout restaurants be considered for payment? Absolutely. Any restaurant can be considered for payment processing. You bet. Takeout restaurants can get payment processing right now with a mobile reader, or they can get a mobile reader, or they can get an app on their phone and swipe it right on their phone. David, you could use a similar but separate domain to email from to protect the main company domain when emailing to a list. I see what you mean. Yeah. To worry about spamming and stuff. Yeah, we could set up a new one. Okay. Well, listen, I don't want to keep you anymore. We've been here over an hour, and I'm glad you guys had a lot of time to share and give ideas and keep thinking. I've got a page of ideas from this. You guys have been great. You made the company a better company today. And yes, I'm glad you like that, Tom. Thank you, buddy. You guys have made this a better company today because of some ideas we hadn't thought of, and you remind us of some old ideas that we haven't done yet. You've refreshed them. So cheers to you. Keep them coming. Let's stay on the front line. Live that daily recipe. Hashtag DAC Trailblazer. Put it in. Put a picture of yourself. Hashtag DAC Trailblazer. Live the recipe. Live the daily recipe. And each day you do it, you get another chance to win next Wednesday, and you're going to want to win. So first of all, you're doing the right behavior, but let's reward you for it. God bless you all. This is officially over. Have a good one.